Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Poland Daily History. Today we are visiting the city of Ciechanowiec on the northeastern side of Poland and the Krzysztof Kluk Museum of Agriculture. They are organizing a medieval fair, or rather an event focusing on the lifestyle of the nobilities during the 18th century. Join us as we delve into the various aspects of the Polish nobility's life during the time when Poland was under partition. Ladies and gentlemen, we are here at the Agricultural Museum with the historian, Mr. Tomaszewski. And I was wondering, because we see this wonderful event today focused on the 18th century, but I was hoping you can tell me what else we can see in this Agricultural Museum, and when the visitor come and see the museum, what can they expect to see?
The museum has existed for 57 years now, and it has an all-year-round offer. We have both historical and a cultural offer. We generally begin the year of cultural events in April, when we have the first event referring to the old traditions of fairs, the market on St. Wojciech. That's in April. Later there is an indulgence for the feast of St. Anthony, because in our open-air museum there is a church under the invocation of St. Anthony that was moved from the neighboring village of Boguty Pianki. Thanks to this, we have an event called the Indulgence of Święty Anthony. The most interesting event, however, which actually ends the first part of the year and starts the next, is the High Mazovian Convention, which is taking place today. This convention is an interesting event due to the fact that it is a strictly historical event, organized for 11 years now. Each event has a theme. This year, it is the 18th century. It was the age in which the patron of our museum, Father Krzysztof Kluk, lived, who would be celebrating his 280th birthday on September 13th, 2019. This congress is supposed to show the realities that prevailed in Ciechanowiec in the 18th century, when our village was ruled by the very influential and well-known Ossoliński family in Europe, when the city experienced its renaissance after the great wars of the 17th and 18th centuries. But the biggest, most well-known event is the Podlachia Bread Festival. It is always organized in August, as close as possible to August 15th. This event gathers the entire elite of bakers, confectioners from the entire Podlachia province, as well as from all over Poland. We also have foreign guests from Lithuania, Belarus. We are open to other events. This event is enormous. In one day, around 25,000 people visit Ciechanowiec, which is 5 times more than the city's residents. Suffice it to say that during the event, getting in and out, as well as through Ciechanowiec, is almost impossible. There are cars everywhere, and there are thousands of people. But this is not the end of our ceremonial and historical year. In September, or in the beginning of October, we have an event called Autumn in the Field and in the Yard. This is a summary of the year conducted by the farmers, when they can show what they have done during the year, what they collected, and what went to the pantry. And at the end of the year, there is a very important international event dedicated to the late Kazimierz Olszyński, the creator and the first director of our museum, who created this event and renewed it. There is a folk song playing competition played on the instruments of shepherds, colloquially called ligawki, which was this shepherd instrument, very popular on the border between Podlachia and Mazovia. Ligawki usually take place on the first Sunday of December. With this event, the historical and official year closes, but it does not mean that the museum closes its activity. It is open almost all year. You can come to us every day. No one will be left unhandled. Our guests are the most important for us, and this is a priority that we have.
The Krzysztof Kluk Museum of Agriculture has a schedule packed with events, but the museum also has its own permanent exhibition. Next up, we will ask the historian Norbert Tomaszewski about the museum's most popular attractions. So outside of the events, if visitors come, what can they see, what can they visit, what are the exhibitions of this place?
Jako historyk będę trochę taki
As a historian, I can be a bit biased, so I will discuss historical exhibitions. The main element of the entire museum is the Mazovia and Podlasie Open-Air Museum. It is a place where we have gathered the most interesting buildings from the whole region. We have managed them so that when we show them, especially to the younger audience, to the children, we can say that the people living here left those houses for just a moment and they will return home soon. Here, everything takes place according to the normal working day. The main element, a little prick in the eye, is of course the palace, the former seat of the Starzyński counts, rebuilt after the Second World War since it was destroyed by the Red Army. We even have a palace interior in it, which was unofficially blessed by the last ordinate of Ciechanowiec, Jan Hrabia Starzyński. He visited the museum, saw these rooms, and then said that they look very close to what he remembered from childhood. Of course, there are also historical exhibitions. Palace interiors, such as the Count's office, dining room and bedroom, are connected to the next two rooms. That is the history hall of the city of Ciechanowiec, a city that celebrates the 590th anniversary of granting city rights this year. We also have a separate lounge of Professor Andrzej Ciechanowski, our donor, who has given us magnificent exhibits located at the Royal Castle in Warsaw. These exhibits can be hosted on temporary exhibitions, which the castle organizes in accordance with the testamentary description of the professor. If we were to go outside, we would see the church dedicated to Saint Anthony of Bogutpianek. It is a true gem in our open-air museum. It has a beautiful interior. Though the church itself is from the 18th century, the interior is mainly from the 19th century. It was given to us entirely by a parish priest from Bogutpianka. In addition, we created an exhibition dedicated to our patron, Priest Kluk. There we have a vicar house, which we have transformed into Priest Kluk's presbytery. The left part is the priest's house, while the right side belongs to the parish priest. There is a chancellery and his office, where he slept and ate his meals. It is a timeless attempt to recreate elements from the 18th and 19th century. We also have a hunting court of the Potocki counts from the Siemion forest estate. In this court, we have three interesting exhibitions. One, which is an exhibition on a European scale, is an exhibition of Easter eggs. I am sometimes joking that it is the largest collection of Easter eggs west of the Bug River, because only the Ukrainian Kolomea can compete with our collection. However, our collection, which was donated by the late Professor Irena Stasiewicz-Jasiuk and her husband Jerzy Jasiuk, is great, and I highly recommend seeing it. In addition, we also have a noble salon dedicated to a painter from Podlachia, Professor Ignacy Pieńkowski, and at the top there is a beautiful collection of exotic products. Pieces from Africa and Europe are combined thanks to the Dutch maritime ports.
Przez te porty właśnie wpływały te dzieła z Afryki i z Azji.
As we have seen today, the Polish nobility faced a wide range of problems at the end of the 18th century. Most prominently, the loss of national sovereignty due to infighting. Nevertheless, they were able to preserve their culture and tradition throughout centuries for future generations to admire. That's it for today. I'm your host, Benjamin Lee, and I'll see you next time on Poland Daily History.